In this video, I'm showing you how to sweep the enemy completely off the map in Wargame Red Dragon. So we're about to get into the actual battle itself. Just wanted to give you a quick overview of the strategic situation. So you can see we are all in Vladivostok and controlling naval sector Bravo. The enemy has Kratsovka, Usarisk, and Bolshoi Kamen. So they're surrounding us and trying to take back Vladivostok. We're going to make that extremely difficult. And in fact, in this video, we're going to completely destroy all their command vehicles and then kick them out. So we're going to go straight into the battle now. Okay, so now we're in the actual battle. What you can see here is I've controlled Naval Sector Bravo. I've also got my forces set up in Foxtrot and then the Kratsovka sector, right? So I've got command vehicles in these three sectors. My strategy in this sector is just to hold. In Kratsovka sector, it's also just to hold. I also have my support units, my mortars, my self-propelled anti-air gun there, and then I've got these tank reserves that are hanging out there that I'm going to use to kind of exploit the enemy's situation. So here we are, we're starting the battle. And my strategy here is to move into the Usarisk sector up north, and then I want to cut off Bolshoi Kamen and then attack that middle sector. And when I started this match, I believed that I could completely sweep the enemy from their positions and get a very good destruction. So you can see I'm moving a token force into that northern sector, got them set up so they're going to drive over there. Right now the enemy, they start moving forward with these BMPs, but they quickly get shut down by some ATGM vehicles that I have there. So they it seems like the enemy AI is confused about what it should be doing. Now the enemy has moved into Usarisk, so I at least know that they are there. Don't know how much they have there, how much enemy. And then we get this column again moving towards that sector, but I'm going to start shutting them down. I've got my mortars going just to try and panic them, but also I'm going to start smoking them here in a second in order to prevent them from using any kind of auto cannons against my infantry. Looked like they were trying to move a radar anti-air system into that village between Foxtrot and the Kratsovka sectors. So what I have in the naval sectors, I've got a command vehicle and a logistics or supply ship, obviously, and then I've got a anti-air ship that's going to try and prevent or try and get some kills on their fighter aircraft as they come through and do bombing runs. What I was hoping was as they went down and around, or maybe as they were evacing, those ships would get some kills on the enemy aircraft. I don't think that happens at any point during this match, but that was my intent. You can see that the enemy is not making much progress as they move toward Kratsovka. Obviously, that's a priority for them to destroy, because if they can get into that sector, destroy my command vehicle, I'm not going to be able to bring in reinforcements. Now I've landed, or I've gotten my toehold in the Usarisk sector, so I'm moving in there, and the goal is going to be to push south. Meanwhile, I've decided to start moving my ships down. This particular ship has a big MLRS on it, so it's going to provide fire support, but I'm spreading out those anti-air ships so that they can take on any kind of enemy aircraft that are coming in. Here, moving the fire support vehicles along the side through the woods so they don't get easily destroyed by any enemy armor. Now here, I make a real brain-dead move. I decide to keep some J711s in the air so that if any enemy bombers come in or aircraft come in, they're up there ready to engage. However, the enemy brings in a bunch of MiGs and destroys both my J711s. Wasn't a smart play on my part. I don't have a lot of anti-air support just because either they were destroyed earlier in the campaign or I don't have a battle group. So I'm hurting in anti-air. I have to keep that in mind. So shouldn't have played those J711s. Now, the fact that I own Naval Sector Bravo enables me to bring in these tanks via amphibious assault. So I'm going to bring those into the south so that I can push those towards Bolshoi Command. Up here, we've got our infantry moving forward, basically uncontacted. And you can see that the enemy command vehicle keeps, blipping in and out. So it seems like they're getting spooked there. I'm bringing all these infantry into the middle area just to consolidate. But it seems like the enemy at this point does not have any offensive momentum or is even trying to do any kind of big push. And here we see there the enemy command vehicle tries to get away, and I believe I destroyed it just there. I don't have any recon, which is a big problem, and that's just because my recon was destroyed earlier in that campaign. The enemy's doing a good job of avoiding flying over the ocean where I have my anti-air ships. At this point, I'm just waiting for my tanks to come in. I'm going to decide to bring in some amphibious infantry. The one downside to these guys is they do not have any kind of vehicles on those boats. So once they get off, they're going to be just humping it on the ground. So it's going to be hard for me to use them in attacking Bolshoi Command because they're going to be moving slow. They're on their feet, which as a former infantryman I can appreciate. You can only move so fast. Don't know what the enemy is doing here. They're kind of just launching rounds. They must have observed my fire support vehicles that were over there and think that they're still there, but they are not. That is a heavy artillery piece that they have. Okay, it's time to dismount my guys. Luckily, the boat knows to move in closer so that the tanks don't just drive off the ramp into the water and drown. We're going to move the tanks to an attack position on the edge of the woods in preparation for pushing towards Bolshoi Command. So now I have Usurisk completely in my control because I've moved a command vehicle up there into the north. So now what do I do? At this point, I'm trying to make the decision. Do I push straight towards Bolshoi Command, or do I kind of force my way through Delta so I can at least get some infantry over there? Because I'm going to have trouble getting infantry up to Bolshoi Command with the fact that I don't have any vehicles, and to get my infantry with vehicles over there, I'm gonna have to pass through Delta. So at this point, I'm making the decision to try and basically I'm gonna take Delta first before moving on to Bolshoi Command, while also moving my tanks up to that sector. You can see my guys are just running. I don't know what distance that is, but they move pretty fast. This is a completely brain-dead play on the part of the enemy artificial intelligence, if you can call it that. They just drove that command vehicle straight up there. These guys are bombing, going on a bombing run. I think against my... Oh yeah, you can see it impacted up there in Usurisk, in the Usurisk sector. We got a huge point float, but I'm not really hurting. I'm not taking a lot of casualties. So now you can see that I am getting ready to push into Delta. Going to try and grab a foothold in the western side of the town And then I've also got my tanks moving up. You may notice that if you've watched any of my previous videos, I used to use the RTS symbols, and now I'm using the NATO symbols. My buddy, who I've been playing multiplayer with, kind of forced me to do that. But it's a good decision because, one, it's easier to see exactly what kind of unit it is. There's more specificity there. Two, I'm already used to reading these units just from my experience in the military, so it's not hard. If you didn't have that experience, it might take you some time to get used to reading what those unit symbols are. But once you get it down, it's fairly straightforward. So I've laid down smoke. Also, another cool thing about these amphibious boats that I've been using for my getting my tanks onto the ground is they have smoke rockets, right? So I'm moving them up so that I can take advantage of that. Of course, I've also got my mortars going, but the enemy is not really making a huge push to stop me. I accidentally sent some infantry over the top instead of through the west, but it's not much of a problem. And now I'm just going to dismount my infantry, who are taking this city basically uncontested, and they're going to sweep from west to east, moving through and just clearing out any enemy. They've already displaced the command vehicle, as we can see the sector turned gray. I have a bit of an advantage here because the enemy didn't have a lot of destruction points relative to me, so they're in a weaker position. They can't really stop what I'm doing. You can see Recon dude here is trying to do what Recon do and get eyes on the enemy, and he pays for it with his life. And at this point, we're just moving across, right? Now I decide I'm going to move my tanks into an attack by fire position near the end of the sector that's moving towards Bolshoi Kamen. And I'm going to be real with you. I don't know if it's Bolshoi Kamen or Bolshoi. I think it's Bolshoi. I don't speak Russian. I once tried to learn Russian, but I kind of faded away on that. And I actually like learning languages. It's just it had me tripped up. Okay, yeah, so we're gonna keep moving the infantry through this city, and we're moving our tanks up there. You can tell they're tanks because, well, one, you probably know they're tanks. Two, the circle, that oval means armor, right? And it doesn't have any qualifiers to it. Looks like they're bringing in some attack aviation that really came in and then rapidly evacuated, but I don't know what their purpose was. I finally realized, hey, I need my J-11s in force if they're going to destroy any of the enemy aircraft, since I have so little anti-air on the ground. And at this point, my attacking units are way ahead of the, the anti-air support. And my mortar support, so I'm actually going to have to move that up too. I decided to cap the middle sector so that I definitely have it in future campaigns, because I already know that the enemy is likely going to keep attacking Vladivostok because they want to retain this sector. That's going to become a problem for me later. And now I'm starting to see some of their vehicles in Bolshoi come in. Decide to launch a MLRS strike. I probably could have been doing this more throughout the game, especially with the point float that I have. I could have brought in a lot of these and started just raining down hatred on their units with these rockets. These are a good way to get people stunned and panicked. Now we can see the infantry is trying to run out against my tanks across open ground. Not smart. Right, so at this point, they no longer have any command or any sectors under their control. And at some point here, I'm going to destroy their last command vehicle. I don't think I see it, but maybe this time we can. I think that was their last command vehicle right there, destroyed by my tech. So that's it. So they lost the Naval Infantry Regiment, and they lost an anti-air company, which is really going to help me in the future. However, they still have a lot of forces that are going to be coming back. And as you can see, once we look at the map, they're still surrounding us. We're going to need to keep fending off these attacks, but we're also going to need to start moving towards the Russian objective that's far off to the east. So even though this battle went very well for me, I'm still in a bit of a pickle. And of course, I get the congratulations from the saddest man alive. But anyway, that's it. So I'll catch y'all next time. If you like this, please like and subscribe. It really means a lot to me when you do. But I am out here.